Now for council reports, Councilman Howard.
Well, how's everybody? Still got a full house out there. That's good. That's good news. Welcome to spring, I think. I don't want to mess it up. But thanks for being out here tonight. Mr. Ewan, thank you. I appreciate your insight into our history here. And sometimes I have a hard time following along because it's so much. Easy. Anyway, coming up Wednesday, if some of you have noticed through the city, we had a couple of watch for motorcycle signs appear in our city almost a year ago or so. So being a motorcyclist, I kind of reached out to the people that were a part of that to make that happen the first go around, which was Allstate. And they have agreed to come back into the city and give us 4 additional signs. And so Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, just down the west side of the entrance to coming into the city, we're going to do an initiation or an installation of the first of those 4 signs. And then, of course, our Public Works Department will take those and the additional ones and get those put up around town. So, as a motorcyclist, I understand it's a dangerous thing to do, to be out there on 2 wheels. So we need the traveling public to watch for us. And so this is just another way to bring some of that to us. I want to thank publicly the folks at Allstate for helping us out with this. And so you should be seeing some information. You should be seeing those kind of things coming up. But that's Wednesday, 10 o'clock. So we want to thank those folks for that. Okay, Erica. I find it hard to go through another meeting or go through any kind of meeting or any activity or any place I'm at where I don't bring this up. And the Veterans Memorial Freedom Flame that we're going to erect and light in this city for years and years to come. So when you're talking to people, when you're seeing opportunities, mention it to them. Everybody can know a veteran. Everybody knows a veteran. Everybody will probably always know a veteran. So we don't want to let this is something that's very important to our city and our future, and we want to make sure that we always think about it. Okay? I had the tremendous honor and pleasure yesterday to kind of MC the grand opening, if you will, of our community garden. And I know others on tonight's council are going to mention the garden, and that's okay. We're all going to do it because it's all that important to us. I made some comments during that opening about community, and I believe those comments, and I believe this garden will foster the continued community spirit that there's not a community in the country that wouldn't love and appreciate this. Our neighbors in Swanee have kind of been an inspiration for this thing. Erica, you want to go ahead and just kind of go through the next one? And, I don't want to forget those that, have helped us get to where we are with this thing. And Kurt and Gretchen, publicly, thank you for kind of being the spirit that's led us to this. We tend to do everything you guys want to do. So if you ever get the inclination you want to come paint my house, let me know. But this is what we're talking about, this picture here, and I'm sorry, but these are all of the people, the 80-plus people that were there yesterday when we opened this thing. And all the beds are sold out. But pride doesn't begin to express how I feel about this endeavor and what it will do, and what it already has done for the community. I think there's one more, Erica. Yeah. Martha Whitman and Eileen Megason got over and did some demonstration plots, and you can see the interest. And this is what community does. There's people in this crowd right here that didn't know one another when they stepped over at that bed. When they left, they probably knew each other, or at least they know now that they have a common interest. So I'm terribly honored and very proud of what was accomplished yesterday from the hurdles and the things that were put in front of this committee to get this thing done. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the perseverance of everybody on the committee to make this happen, because this is good. Snellville, this is good. So I think that was all. Is that the last one? No, there's the Watch for Motorcycle ones again. Anyway, honored and proud to be a part of this city and be a part of this, and I want to thank y'all all for coming out. Travel safe going home, and for crying out loud, watch out for motorcycles.
Councilman Emmanuel.
Well, excuse me. I knew Bobby was going to have his slideshow, so I didn't bring any with me. And rather than repeat what he said, I just wrote a blog. It's up on Snellville Patch if you'd like to read it. Again, it's about the community garden and all the good things it has done and will do for Snellville. If you haven't been out to it, I'd encourage you to go out, and if you do nothing else, just walk around and enjoy it. And there will be additional beds coming available. If you want to see whether your thumb is green or black, you can certainly find out, and there's plenty of people to help you if you've had bad experiences in the past. And that ties into something else I'd like to talk about, and that's image. And I think the community garden will do wonders for the image of Snellville, and I would predict before it's all over, it'll be the subject of national recognition. And unfortunately, we have some negative image that we don't really deserve because it's events and issues that are outside the city. And I was reading something recently, and people are talking about unincorporated Snellville. There's no such thing. It's unincorporated Gwinnett County, which is the area that surrounds Snellville. So when you hear your neighbors talk about things are bad in Snellville, it's typically crime. You might want to point out that if it's not inside the city limits, it's not Snellville. And you can see the difference. Gwinnett police officers wear blue and Snellville officers don't. You just have to look at the cars. And there's really not a lot of crime in Snellville. And what is doesn't last very long because the Snellville Police Department gets on it. But I think it's very important for you to communicate to your neighbors that Snellville is not unincorporated Gwinnett County, and there is a difference. And one of the advantages of living in the city is the service of the excellent police department we have. And having said that, be careful on the way home so you don't get a ticket.
Councilwoman Kraus.
Good evening. I want to welcome Ron Cole back. Ron Cole is a very, very important part of the city of Snellville, and he's also very important in the Gwinnett County area. And the rest of the story is Ron Cole is a chaplain at Eastside Medical, and he's back again because all of us needed him at Eastside. And I'm very happy. He's a wonderful friend, and I appreciate all the efforts that he does within the city and with the people in all areas, and he's very needed. And if you're ever at Eastside Medical on a Pleasantry, please go by his office on the first floor and just go in and say hello. I'd also like to thank John Kilpatrick for a wonderful evening Saturday night at the United Methodist Church with the Gwinnett Choral Guild. And they sang for about an hour and a half, beautiful light classical music, and it was an extremely pleasant evening. And I thank all of them for the wonderful night out. And also I want to give my congrats to the community garden, and a special thank you to the mayor of Suwanee, Jimmy Burnett. That was kind of special that he came to our opening, and I appreciated that. Y'all take care going home, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Mayor Pro Tem Woods.
It's really tough for you this far down on the players list. You know, there's not much less to talk about. But I don't know if you all were paying attention closely tonight, but I was. And Councilwoman Kraus, I've written, I've listened to lots of resolutions in my day and proclamations, but the wording that you put into the proclamation that you wrote for the police was exceptional. And I want to read it again. I mean, it really was. It was the wording you used and the phrasing you used was something I'll remember. Congratulations on that. It was very good. Congratulations to everyone in the park, or excuse me, everyone who did the work on the garden. I know there was many Saturdays that you all worked out there. It all paid off yesterday. I was standing with Mayor Burnett, and we were talking about how we raised funds and everything, and he quite frankly looked at me and said, "Tom, it cost us $175,000 to do ours. How are you doing this?" I said, "I'm not. The city is, and the volunteers are, and the people and the businesses of the city are the ones that are doing it. Ours is going to take us a little bit longer than theirs, but it'll be equal to theirs when it's done, and we'll be able to look at each other and say, we did it, not we maintain it." I think that's very important. One last thing is I want to thank everyone. As you know, Carol and I asked that any donations for flowers to our son be sent to the garden in his name, and I understand there's over $700 that was sent. I want to thank everyone who did that from the bottom of my heart, something I'll never forget. Thank you.
Councilman Sabag.
Well, thank you all for being here. First and foremost, I'd like to wish my son a happy 19th birthday, and I promised him dinner tonight, so I'm going to take him out to one of his favorite places. Of course, I'll probably end up seeing all of his friends there, so the bill's going to be huge, but it's fun, and I love you, son. If you watch, he says he'll be watching for this. Spring break is I think started today. And we got a whole week worth of kids probably sleeping in late. And along the lines of the safety discussions that we had, is I'm sure they'll be out and about in the middle of the day. So let's pass the word. These kids are driving, and again, I'd like to thank the police department for keeping up with them. They're probably outnumber you out there. Mr. Ewing, thank you so much for the history lessons you've been giving me. I really appreciate the time and the research and the message that you set forth. I have learned a great deal of this, and I look forward to many more of that. And thank you for taking a great lead into this, because this is pretty important. At least in my own point of view, I think the history of the city is pretty good, and I appreciate the fact that you keep us informed of how all of this came about. And that's fantastic. Thank you, sir. I appreciate all the information that you have given us in the past many months. Goodness, it's been probably over 3 years now since you started doing this. And again, I'd like to thank the organizers from Kelly McAloon all the way down to the rest of the staff that helped set together the Gwinnett Braves get together. I enjoyed it. Most importantly is that my nephew was with me, and my nephew doesn't have a dad. He died 6 years ago, and that was a fantastic trip for Christian. He has not forgotten about it. He called me, sends me text messages thanking me for taking him to the game and the parade. That was fantastic. Thank you, folks. I appreciate all what you've done. That's my report.
Thank you. Now for the mayor's report. One quick negative. I usually try to ignore these things, but apparently there's a blog going around that back in February I missed a city business because I was getting my nails done. That some members of this council are spreading that rumor. I actually was in jail, not in jail, I was at the jail as working as duty attorney. So I just encourage you, if you're going to start a blog about why I wasn't at something and I lied about it, don't choose something where there's audio and videotape of me actually working. There are things that come before the city, my family, but getting my nails done is never something that will come before city business. There also, apparently in that same blog, is a rumor that I'm trying to close the farmers market. And so I want to let the Schultzes know that I have no desire to close the farmers market. I know y'all have been doing great things over there. I typically don't make it on Saturday mornings because Saturday is usually my day for family time in the morning, but I do appreciate what y'all are doing over there. So with that, on to the more positive things. Miss McAloon, I did not have a chance to email you, but I had a blast on Friday. So thank you so much for organizing that. I was a nervous wreck before throwing out the first pitch, but Melvin and Principal Thigpen were great sports and relaxed my nerves. And so thank you for putting that together. And Miss Rollins and Susan, thank you all for volunteering and working the table. I really do appreciate everyone's hard work for that. And so also to the Schultzes, Councilman Krause already mentioned Saturday night we spent at Snellville United Methodist Church. I want to thank Pastor Cantrell and the Gwinnett Choral Guild for a fabulous performance. But after Friday and Saturday, I had to spend Sunday with some family time. So I'm sorry that I missed the community garden opening Sunday morning. But I heard from Ms. Forbes that it was a great event. So thank you all for your work on that. Finally, as we mentioned in the announcements, Snellville Days is coming up. It will be here before we know it. It is the 40th anniversary, and as I've said many times, the theme of the parade, which I'm the chair of, is Happy Birthday Snellville Days. Remembering our past, honoring our present, and celebrating our future. Lou Williams is the Grand Marshal. We have some great acts, some surprises for everyone, so please come out and watch the parade. Mr. Ewing, I haven't gotten a response from the Historical Society, but I think it'd be fabulous for them to have an entry in the parade, and it's not too late if you'd like to be in the parade or any of your organizations. We've extended the deadline until April 16th. It's spring break. I hope everyone has a happy and safe spring break, and thank you all for coming out tonight. I will now open it to public comments. Before I do, please, if you have a comment, there is a sign-in sheet at the podium. Please sign your name, address, and the topic that you plan on speaking about on the sign-in sheet at the podium. In compliance with Section 2-53 of our city charter, public participation in meetings of the city council is encouraged and shall be permitted in accordance with the following provisions. Public comments, the final agenda item of the city council meeting, shall be reserved for comments from the public. Each member of the public who wishes to address the city council must submit his name, address, and the topic of his comments to the city clerk prior to making such comments. Such individual will be allotted 5 minutes to make his comments, and such comments must be limited to the chosen topic. These limits can be waived by a majority vote of the city council. So does anyone have any public comments for us tonight?
My name is Joel Davenport. Do I still need to state all that since it's written here? Follow me, I'll show you. Okay. Basically, I actually had no intentions of speaking tonight until I heard two words stated: pending litigation. And I keep hearing of moving Snellville forward, moving ahead, making things better. But from my personal aspect, I don't see how this is possible when we've got, pending litigation over this, pending litigation over that. Because the time, the effort, the money that's involved with it could be put forth to something to better the city. It all seems to be pointing to where, instead of decisions made by the men and women sitting at this panel, the council, it wants to be in one direction. I know that, to me, the reason we have a city council is so that, decisions can be made, discussed, voted upon, which is why us, the citizens of Snellville, voted to have these people here. I know that one lawsuit litigation has been settled by a judge that stated that no, one person does not have that authority, that power to make decisions such as this. But yet, we still have other litigation ongoing that points in the same direction of, no, we're not going to have a vote of the council, so let's waste some more time, effort, and money. And it makes no sense to me. As I've stated before, I've lived in this city over 40 years. And it's like, we're wasting all this time. We want to move forward. Snellville has moved forward. But I don't see how it can continue. And, I would like to actually ask why the mayor won't even acknowledge, look up when I'm speaking. She didn't do that the last time that I spoke. At least I can say everyone else here is looking up, at least giving me that consideration. Based off of that, I'm going to state the same thing that I did the last time I spoke, and that is requesting the immediate resignation of Mayor Couts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davenport. Any further public comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion of our meeting. During the public hearing of the Mayor and City Council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Couts announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and asked Council to advise the City with respect to closing the meeting. City Attorney advised the City of the following reasons to close the meeting: to discuss pending and/or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions which is exempt from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to OCGA Section 50-14-2, subsection 1. Upon a motion of Councilman Kraus, seconded by Councilman Howard, the meeting was closed with the following council members and the mayor present and voting. Mayor Couts, yes. Councilman Emanuel. Yes. Councilman Howard. Yes. Councilwoman Kraus. Yes. Councilman Sabag. Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Witz. Yes. With that, we will reconvene in 2 minutes in the conference room. I don't expect any action coming from the executive session. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and have a good night.